Hello everybody, today we are checking out Starlight Stargazer by Uki Violeta. So we've heard Uki once or twice now, I suppose. We've heard him in his group song, and we've also heard his original song Deja Vu. And I was a massive fan of Deja Vu. I really liked his voice, the composition, the lyrics in that song. It was all extremely beautiful. And so I'm excited to see what this song is like. Looking at the title, Starlight Stargazer, I'm thinking it might be somewhat similar to Deja Vu with the whole astral theme. And I'm excited to see what he does new and what he shows us with this song. So without further ado, let's get right into it in 3, 2, 1, play. Ooh. All right, we're starting off with a Yamcha pose, but I also want to go back a little bit. This is like a almost uplifting drum beat we're getting here, and we've got this very light piano pushing some ambience as well. So you can hear we have a synth playing the role of the ambience, and it's working very subtly. It's not taking too high or too low of a role in the mix, and we've got this very nice high piano, but well, maybe not too high. It's more of a middle tone with the piano, and we're getting this very interesting drum beat I wasn't expecting. It's a very thin snare, but it's not so thin that it's harsh. It's a soft but somewhat thin snare. And I also want to point out that every time we're hearing that digital drum snare, we're getting a bass kick right before it. So it's bump, bump, and it's that adds a bit of impact before it cuts off. So the snare is sort of uplifting, but right before we get that uplifting part of the snare, we're getting this bassy hit. So it goes low, high, low, high. But let's keep going. All the lights disappear. Interesting. All the sounds become clear. All right, we're getting a low, breathy voice here. He's just at the very beginning, he kept his breath, his breathing in. He kept that in the vocal track. If you look at just before the vocals get introduced. Oh. You can hear right there, he breathes in. And when he says disappear, it's, well, obviously my pitch was not correct there, but when he says disappear, it's disappear. There's a break there, and then right after that, he does another break. And he breathes in again. So this breath, it's like he's intentionally making it look like he's struggling to breathe because of where the song is. You can see it in the visual. You can hear it in the music. It's difficult for him to sing this. And before in Deja Vu, we got something similar, but he's using a different technique here. In Deja Vu, what he did was he sort of added this very slight vocal fry to his lower notes. Here we're getting more breathiness and more gaps in his singing, which I think is a nice, it's a nice way to do something similar and reminiscent of his previous song, but still add something different, do something new. And I think you can also hear that again when he says clear here. He's going low with that clear, but if he had been singing that in Deja Vu like we heard before, he would have added some vocal fry here. But I think partly because the word itself that he was singing was the word clear, and also because of this new aesthetic we're hearing, different from Deja Vu, it's not using that sort of vocal fry, that pained, guttural, just very subtle but guttural twang to his lyrics. He's using the breathiness to accompany that bassier drum as well as the mid-tone piano as opposed to a very high piano. And I think he's sort of playing at the top of the mix without necessarily going too high, if you understand what I mean there. Oh, and now he's climbing high. And I want to hear that pitch he used there. Interesting. He's intentionally delaying that part where he goes to the note we're expecting to hear. We expect him to go higher than the note he introduces with the found, which I think is I think this is a lot of unique subtle composition choices that I'm really liking, because I think they're very intentionally contrasting what we heard in Deja Vu. In Deja Vu, there wasn't I wouldn't say there was an overly like unexpected melody per se. It was all very satisfying and pleasant to the ear, but it was emotional and heart-wrenching. Here we're getting more of Uki playing around with his composition and playing around with the notes he's hitting. And I think that kind of shows what he's done with his time in this company. I think that shows how he's growing as a vocalist and the choices that he's starting to experiment more with. I like that intentional dissonance there. I like that you can hear the instrumental drop down when he says "I have fallen." When he's saying he's fallen, you can hear the entire instrumental shift down to match what the song is saying. And that's very, I mentioned this before with Deja Vu, just Uki in general, he has such a wonderful way of conveying the message of the song through the music. It's very beautiful, and it's something that a lot of artists think that they're doing, but don't spend enough time considering. Because a lot of people might be like, oh, well, I'm singing a sad song, I'll go for something minor. But they won't think of the more complex choices they can make within that composition. I can feel eternal sleep, but you touch me with your heartbeat. You found me. You found me. Interesting. And he's singing it a bit differently now. You found me. Interesting. He kind of cut himself off there and went up like into a different register. I actually quite like that, because obviously this is him being very pained singing this. He's struggling to sing this. And I don't mean struggling as in he obviously has the vocal capability to sing this comfortably, but he's intentionally making it sound like he's struggling to sing this because of the aesthetic of the song. And I think that's something that's very important to realize, because a lot of artists will be like, oh, well, I want to show off my vocal ability as much as I can, right? It's my original song. I want to show it off. But if your voice is super powerful and maybe it's aggressive or intense, and you're singing this somber, emotional song, then it's going to contrast, it's going to conflict. And I think Uki is matching his composition and his voice super well. I like how low he's going here. And I like that vocal layering we got there. You can hear there's another vocal track in the mix there. Nice. Interesting. Okay, he chose to. That was interesting. He said your heart with my heart, and then he chose to put vocal layering on the next line when it says they're becoming one. So he's still emphasizing the part that there are more than one subjects that he's speaking on, But what I'm thinking personally is, I think when I hear that, what I think is going to happen is, I think later in the song that line is going to be referenced again, but it's only going to be one vocal track to show progression throughout the song. I may be wrong about that, but that's what I think is going to happen, because I feel like we heard that in Deja Vu. We heard Uki utilize the quantity of vocal tracks to convey a message. We saw him shift which lines get multiple vocal tracks and which ones only get one. So hearing this, that's what I think is going to happen.
This feeling's familiar, more powerful will become.
Nice.
And you'll see.
And very nice. We were getting this vocal layering that's supported with these like string instrumentation that we're getting, and it's extending the note that the back of the mix is hitting with the layered vocals, and it's pushing on to the next set of layered vocals. That was really nice.
Everything that you can be.
Nice. Good. Utilizing those drums perfectly.
You can be like starlight in the sea.
Nice. That was a very well done sustain. That he held that sustain all the way through the new instrumental introduction, and then held it out past that to emphasize his capability. That's a very, very nice sustain there. Let's go back.
Starlight in the sea. Starlight in the sea.
Nice. Doing it again with slightly different pitch. Ooh, nice. And then add some flavor onto that for variation. Ooh. Nice. Nice. I believe this is sort of a reference to Deja Vu as well, with the I believe the Latin segment intermission, and saying it multiple times while adding some new instrumental there. That was really nice. I really like that other vocal in the back of the mix. We're getting the front of the vocals saying the lyrics we're getting, and then we're getting a slightly different layered vocal in the back of the mix. I really like that other layered vocal is just offsetting the rhythm just right. It's hitting the parts of the mix that we're not getting from the front. It's covering that bass tone. It's covering those lower to mid tones. We're getting everything that isn't filled up by that front vocal, and it's working to the front vocal's benefit. It's supporting the drums. It's supporting the instrumental. I love how those vocals sound together. That was very beautiful. Nice. I have to say that piano is mixed perfectly. When it's going between those arpeggiated notes, it's hitting those high notes, and those high notes are just right in volume to pop above his vocals and come back down, so we can notice the piano, but it doesn't take away from the vocal track. So a very beautiful job mixing that. Nice. Nice rhythm switch up, and nice. So with the echoing second vocal track, we're introducing a new rhythm as well. which is a very nice variation to add towards a catchiness to a tune. Ooh, the way he said the first star there, he went up just at the very end of pronouncing that word, and it added this, as he inhaled and went up, it added this almost a very subtle gasp, and it added a perfect amount of inflection there. Right there. Ooh, nice. Ooh, listen to that. As when he was coming out of light, the strings backed him up perfectly. So, oh, that was nice. He was coming down from light, and you can hear he's holding that pitch, and his projection comes down, and the strings are introduced right at that moment, and they intersect they intersect so that the strings take his place, and that was a perfect transition there. Extremely impressive way to transition a song without having anything too drastic, because obviously this is a soft song, it's an emotional song, it's a thank you song. It seems like it's a thank you song to his fans, if I had to guess. And the strings are just coming up right at that perfect moment. Listen to how the strings come right off of his pitch and take his place in the mix. That's so good. I love those drums. And we're getting this really nice vocal layering again.
Look at me, and you'll see everything that you can be.
Nice. And now that the strings have taken that higher treble tone in the mix, he's attacking that middle tone, and he's doing it beautifully.
Look at me and
Ooh, like that.
you can be like starlight in the sea.
Ooh, I like that. Nice. I love how he sustains that. No wavering. Nice. I love that. There's no wavering there. All his pitch changes sound very intentional, very pronounced. I love that. Nice. That was a nice way to exit the drums from the instrumental.
You're starlight in the sea.
Ooh, I like how that guitar pops out from the piano's place in the instrumental there. I like that very subtle reverb guitar that's picking up from where the piano was in the mix to finish things off. That's really nice.
Starlight in the sea.
Very nice. Very nice. Man, that was very nice. I really like that one. Once again, Uki Violeta, I'm really liking how he's conveying a message through his song, because you can hear it in the instrumental. Now, I want to go back. Where was that line? I believe there's a line where it says, "You found me," that I was talking about.
You found me. You found me. Your heart with my heart.
Let's see. Is that what I was talking about?
Deep. You found me. But
Oh,
you
here we go.
touched me with your heartbeat. You found me. You found me. Your
There was definitely a line that I mentioned where there was some vocal layering, and I wanted to see if he referenced it again. I might have to go back into the video after this to notice it, but there was definitely a line that I really liked where he added some vocal layering when it was talking about himself, I believe. And I'll probably have to go back to take a look if I can find where that is.
Undone your heart with my heart, they're becoming
Right here,
one.
this was what it was when he says they're becoming one. It was interesting because he says your heart with my heart, and there's just one vocal track, and then when he says that they're becoming one, we get some vocal layering. And I wanted to see if that was referenced again. And I suppose it was, because the song was always sort of referencing the listener and the audience. But there was definitely, towards the end, it was definitely more focused towards the theme of the song. So I think instead of going in the direction where he references the beginning of the song, it was more so he has his introductory phase and then he went into his theme through that. And I like that. I think it's a pretty good way to evolve from what he did in Deja Vu. So in Deja Vu, he kind of had those referencing parts, and you can see this song references Deja Vu as well, but it also evolves from that and shows what he's experimenting with and what he's doing new this time. So I like that. It caught me by surprise because I didn't notice any large references in the mix, particularly to the beginning of the song, like I heard in Deja Vu. So I think Uki's definitely experimenting more and growing more as an artist and seeing new things to try out, and I really like that. So this was a really nice original song that I got to check out from Uki Violeta Starlight Stargazer. So thank you for recommending this. As always, feel free to recommend more in the comments below. Aside from that, I will see you next time. Thank you so much.